Wake up, wake up, wake up. Get out of the haze. Welcome to your 20s. You've probably already been in your 20s if you're watching this video, or you're coming up on your 20s. I'm at the end of my 20s. I'm 29, and in almost exactly a year from now, I'm going to be 30. And what I've learned in my 20s as I have grown as a man, as I have worked on myself, as I have done whatever is in my power and my capability as a man to get better, to evolve my life, I've learned 4 key lessons that have actually helped me find the success that I've had and have helped me move towards more success faster than a lot of my peers, and have put me on a track where I know that success is going to continue to grow in the future. And what I'm going to share with you in this video are 4 very basic and very simple principles that you can use to find major success in your 20s, because you are in a very sweet time in your life. One of the things that I'm starting to realize is that your 20s is such a special time, and each year that goes by in your 20s is another year where you're collecting information, where you're collecting knowledge. And I think by far the best part of your 20s is that you have the ability to fail and fail upwards. There's a difference between just failing in life when you have so many people counting on you versus failing upwards. And as I've taken on more responsibility in my life, as I move in towards creating more meaningful relationships and creating a life that has more depth, that has more fulfillment, I've begun to look at the lessons that I learned in my early and even in my later 20s and look at how those lessons had a bigger effect on the direction of my life and the way that my life went. So in this video, I'm going to share with you those 4 lessons in depth. We're going to keep it short and sweet. And what I really want you to do, the reason I share these videos with you is because I want you to make a change in your life. And to be clear, I have nothing to sell you. There's no offer at the end of this video to go check out a webinar or go get my little $50 course. I don't have any of that. What I want is for you to grow, and I want you to make a change in your life. I want you to change and to grow into being the man who has everything he wants in life, who has all the freedom, who has the best relationships, who has the best dating options, who has the best career, who's making money, who's traveling the world and living a life of abundance on his terms, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. 4 ideas, 4 concepts, 4 things that I've learned in my 20s that you can take into your 20s and you can use in your 20s to massively expand and grow your life. So the first thing that I learned is your health and your body is everything. Now, this is really interesting because I didn't really think of this, and a lot of you won't think of this when you're young, because when you're young, you kind of feel okay. Let's say that you could feel a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is like being physically perfect, okay? Where you're not sick at all, you're in shape, you breathe well, you sleep well, you feel great. 10 out of 10. Most of us are never going to be at a 10 out of 10. Maybe when you're a baby, maybe when you're 6 or 7, but as you start to get older, even in your late teens, you're never going to be at a 10 out of 10. The thing is, let's say you're operating at a 7 out of 10 physically, which means your sleep isn't great, you're tossing and turning, maybe you have an odd cough here, you get a flu, a cold here and there. Maybe we'll call that a 6 or 7, maybe even an 8 out of 10. What happens is as you get older, that 8 out of 10 starts to feel a lot worse. So you could get drunk, you could drink a lot of alcohol, not go to the gym when you're 22 years old, and you'll be, let's say, at a 7 out of 10. But you can feel conceptually, because your body will trick you, because you're young and you can recover faster, you'll feel like you're 8 or 9 out of 10 the next day, when in actuality you're operating at a 7 out of 10. And it's a lot harder to recover from those years spent being a 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of health as you get older, as you grow, as you mature. So what happens is you get into your late 20s, you get into your 30s, you get into your 40s, and I know this because I have clients that I work with. Most of my clients are in their 30s and 40s, and I work with them, and the way that they feel in terms of health, the way that they feel in terms of their body just doesn't feel good. And it starts to feel worse and worse and worse, and then it has an effect on their relationships, it has an effect on their ability to do what they want in their life. Whereas I look at a guy who, one of my mentors as an example, who's worked on himself and kept his health up at an 8 or a 9 consistently, been in the gym consistently, been working on his body, and that guy operates feeling at an 8 or a 9 all the time, even in his 30s and 40s. Now, what you want to do in your 20s when it comes to health is 2 things. Number 1, you got to hit the gym. Especially as a dude, you just have to be in the gym. And this is not even about health. This is a really big point. But being in the gym and getting healthy, getting in shape, where your shirts fit you well, where you have some size, where your chest is out a little bit, where you work on your jawline because you're losing face fat. Being in the gym actually helps other men respect you. And this is a massive change I saw, because I used to be a skinny little we'll bleep that out, but I used to be a skinny guy, and I noticed a change when I spent the last 3 years working out aggressively, getting to the point where I was more in shape, where I put on weight, where my muscles were more defined, and where my shirts, my clothing would fit me tighter, I would fill things out more. other men started to respect me more. My network even changed. Now, part of it is I knew how to network, I knew how to create relationships, but previously, other men that may not have taken me seriously, other men that may not have wanted to build a great connection with me, maybe in terms of business, they started to see me differently and doors started to open, and in dating, of course, as well, simply because I got more in shape, simply because I was bigger, because I looked better and I looked more mature in my body. So in your early 20s, what you can do is set a foundation for your later 20s by working out and hitting the gym. And I know not all of you are doing this. I know not all of you are going to the gym consistently. So if you're watching this and you're one of those guys who's kind of in the background, just coasting along, going along, maybe working on your copywriting business, maybe studying a bit of sales, maybe working on ads, maybe building an agency, whatever you're doing, you gotta make the gym priority. What I did this year, and I'm gonna make a video about this later, is I actually took off 2 months from the gym just to train in a very hardcore sales program. So I took 2 months off the gym and all I did was do sales. And I noticed it actually took a toll on my confidence in the real world. Now in sales, I got way better. I was handling objections, I was closing deals, bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars for the company I work with. But at the same time, in the real world, the way that I perform, because I didn't feel good in my body, because I didn't feel like I was in my masculine, because I wasn't lifting weights, I wasn't pumping iron, something was missing. Now I'm back in the gym. Now I have that routine back on lock. And now I'm in a place where I'm going to it consistently and I'm investing in that part of my life again. And my mind is starting to catch up. So number one is go to the gym because it actually gives you more status. It gives you more respect. The second part of your health is how you're eating. How do you eat? So are you consuming lots of junk food? Now, what's interesting is you may be in a position where you can't eat expensive. You can't buy expensive food. You can't buy the best cuts of steak. You can't buy like proper organic vegetables and go and shop or have someone shop for you or order online at the best places. But what you can do is you can eliminate excess sugars. That's a really big thing I found. Last year, I tried an exercise. I went 3 months having 0 artificial sugars as best as I could. I didn't track everything directly, but I wasn't eating any candy. I wasn't putting sugar in my coffee, none of that stuff. All the foods that I were eating were really, really healthy, organic foods without a lot of processed sugars or processed things added in. And I'm not a health expert, I'm not a dietitian, I don't know all the terms, but I know I eliminated sugar and it gave me so much more energy. I eliminated all the cakes and snacks and all this stuff, and it was really, really helpful. Also, watching the kind of fats and oils that you consume, right? If you're slamming French fries that are made with really, really unhealthy oils and submerged in really crazy stuff, if you eliminate those kind of foods, you do your best to cook, you use better organic oils, things that are gonna sit better in your body, it'll give you an advantage over how you treat your health. It'll give you an advantage over the next guy. And what's happening in life is everything is competition. Everything. And this is the second lesson that I learned, the second principle I'm going to share with you. Everything in life is competition. You're always competing against someone else, and you're either going to be on the side of winning or you're going to be on the side of losing. And unfortunately, a lot of men are on the losing side, and they're on the losing side because they don't realize how tough it is. And I really mean this, brother. It's not even competition where other people want to take you down. It's not that, because I used to think that when I was a kid. All my cousins and relatives would say it's so hard out there. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And maybe there's a little bit of that, but that's not how I see the competition. The way I see the competition is everything that you want in life, the money you want, the girl you want, the freedom you want, the house you want, the car you want, the city you want to live in, whatever you want to do in life, the clients you want to work with, someone else wants that. Someone else wants your girl. If you're in a relationship, bro, someone else wants her. Someone sees her in the street, and when you're not there, and there's going to be a guy, 1 or 2 guys, maybe a week if she's good looking, who's going to go up and approach her and say, what's up? The job you want, the contract you want, the closing gig you want, the sales contract that you want, the client you want to work with and onboard. There's 50 people in their DMs that you have to be better than to make that thing work. And it's not just being better than everyone, it's also timing. Those are the 2 things. So competition is huge. Competition's massive. The world is competitive. It's a dog-eat-dog world, not in the sense of the dogs are trying to eat each other, but the dogs are all going for the same goal. And you're participating in this economy. Every single day that you step out of your house, or you're in your house and you go online and you join this community of people that are trying to achieve goals, whether it's financial goals, dating goals, relationship goals, whatever that is, in life, people want the same things. You're competing against other men who want to get the same results as you. So the way you're going to defeat the competition and really get to where you want is going to be 3 things. It's timing, making sure that you don't waste time. Because if you waste freaking time, you're putting yourself far behind the ball. You're setting yourself up for failure if you waste time. Number 2, persistence. It's not just timing, but you have to be persistent. You have to continuously go for the goal. So as an example, I know this in sales. Let's say there's 100 prospects and you want to close minimum 30 of them to get to 30%, which is a good closing rate. What you may have to do is close 20 of them on the first call and 10 of them on the follow-up. How do you prevent them from going and signing up with someone else? You have to be better than the next company that's trying to get them, right? So it's timing and it's persistence. And then the other part of this is skill. I could put skill at the front and make skill the most important one, but people who are the best are gonna rise to the top if they have persistence and if they come at the right time. And time is important. You can't overlook time, of course. Things like Facebook, Apple, why did they do so well? Part of it was the skill, right? The engineers, the people who architected these programs, these products, that architected these services were very good at what they did, better than most who were trying. But there were other good people too. You think like Mark Zuckerberg was the best programmer out there? You think that Steve Jobs was the best designer ever? No. 100% not. But then there's perseverance. Perseverance is number 2. They kept going. They didn't stop despite setbacks. So let's say you have a bunch of people that are 10 out of 10 skill. You have 10 of those people. 5 of them are going to stop because they're not going to persevere and they're not going to be consistent. Okay, now if you're in the 5 that continued, now you have an advantage. Then you have timing. Timing is huge because you want to be the first one there. When I built my dating company, we were doing 6 figures a year consistently. We hit that 3 years in a row, ranging from 100 to 200K over and over, most of that being profit. And when I was running my dating business, why did I do so well in it with relatively little effort? There was a lot of work, but I launched a course. I wasn't even running a lot in ads. I was barely doing anything. I was kind of just fucking around and having fun, to be honest. Why was I having success? It was because of timing. I hit the dating market and the dating coaching market for men at a time where there were YouTube videos that were starting to get popular, and I stayed on and started making YouTube videos at that time. Then Facebook groups started getting popular, and I started using Facebook at that time and started building my dating Facebook group for men to teach them how to attract women. So I started seeing success. So the people who move on trends the earliest, timing, the people who don't stop, persevere, and the people who are really, really good, skill, those are the people who are going to rise to the top. And this is super important to understand in your 20s. And this goes to our next point. What you don't want to do in your 20s is waste time. You don't want to waste time. A lot of guys, how do they waste time? Dating, waste time with the wrong girls, waste time chasing women. Lucky for me, because I spent a lot of time chasing women when I was in my 20s. I'm still in my 20s, but in my early 20s, 21, 22, I spent a lot of time investing in meeting girls. Lucky for me, though, I merged that with the skill set that I could monetize, which was coaching other men on how to do it. So I started doing parties in New York where I would have a bunch of guys come out, buy bottles, and I would get like 20, 30 girls out to hang out at the tables, and I would get paid anywhere from $5 to $15, maybe $20 even, depending on the night, per girl that I would bring out, right? So I was making money from that, and then guys would come and they would buy come to the tables, and I would get a commission from selling them bottle service. I would get a small percentage of what they would invest in buying bottles. And I would tell them, hey, come out to the club, party with us. And I was good at meeting girls, and I leveraged that skill that I was good at into making money, right? So I was lucky. Now, most guys aren't going to do that. Most of you are not going to do that with meeting women. Most of you are not going to, just a straight up truth, bro. You're not going to be at a level meeting girls where you're going to make a job out of it, where you're literally going to be coaching other men and how to meet women, getting paid thousands for that, or where you're going to be making money as a nightclub promoter in one of the top cities in the world. It's just not going to happen realistically, okay? Now, instead, what you need to do, the key is to not waste time on skills that aren't actually going to help you. This is why I believe the best skill is sales. Because if you learn sales, you can work in most industries, because every industry needs sales to function. Now, what you want to do is sell higher and higher priced things. That's the key. So you sell things, you sell items that are higher and higher priced, whether this is coaching, consulting services that are ranging from 10K to 100K. I think being in the high ticket sales space is the best option, purely to make a career and then build your own business, branching from that. A lot of entrepreneurs I know started off doing high ticket sales of some sort, but high ticket sales is huge. Or learning any kind of skill, learning communication skills, learning leadership skills. Don't waste your time in your 20s, because your 20s is a really valuable time, and it's a time where you can get ahead of everyone. Gaps are created in the 20s. That's the key. When you're 20 years old, when you're 21, 22, 23, 24, there's other men. Again, everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants the same goal. And if you have 10 people, 5 of them are going to fall off, either because they're not going to get skilled in their 20s, or they're going to give up in their 20s, right? Or they're going to get the timing wrong, and they're just going to be in the wrong market at the wrong time. What does that mean about you now? In your 20s, that's a time where you can create a gap between yourself and the rest of the crowd that's slacking. You can create a gap between yourself and those who are not taking the right actions to get to where they want to be, because you all want to be at the same place. You wanting something doesn't mean shit. Like, everyone wants to live in the nice penthouse. Everyone wants to be able to sleep with the 10 out of 10 model. Everyone wants that, but they're not going to get it. It's not who wants it, it's who times it right, who perseveres, and who gets good. So in your 20s, if you don't waste time and you have a laser-like dedicated focus on building a vision, you're going to be able to create a gap between those who haven't invested that time and those who actually have. You'll be in the category of those who have. You'll be the guy who is winning. You'll be the guy who's able to have it all. Number 4, and this is what really helped me level up in the last 2 years. This is the big thing. Know your worth. This is huge. So I believe all of you here should be moving towards making more and more and more money. There's 2 ways you can make money. You can either charge a lot or you can own a lot. 2 ways you can do it. The ownership tends to happen a little bit later in life. I don't own things right now. I own skills, I own intellectual property, but what I do is I charge a lot. All right, so someone to work with me one-on-one, that's not cheap. If someone wants to work with me one-on-one for just 3 months, that's going to cost anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000, depending on what work we're doing, right? If someone wants to work with me for a year, that's going to be $15,000 to $25,000, depending on the work we're doing. So know your worth and start charging more. And then you start owning more. That's what I'm learning now. Owning more, looking into owning property, looking into acquiring parts of certain businesses. But for you, right now, if you're in your early 20s, or if you're in a stage where you can't own things, if you're not in a stage of ownership right now, where does it start? It starts in you charging more for what you're damn good at. Charge more for your agency prices, for the fee to work with your agency if you're running one. Charge more as a sales consultant, a sales trainer, or someone who is doing high ticket sales. Ask for more commission. Instead of 7%, go up to 9%. Instead of 10%, talk about 12%. Get paid a base fee. Part of this, again, is your skill set. If you're good, you can charge more. If people believe that they're getting the best with you, you can charge more. I got to a point where I was charging guys $7,500 just to do 12 sessions with me over a year and be in a group that I created. Literally, that was my fee. And I could probably even charge more than that. Some people paid more if they did a payment plan, actually. But know your worth, because when you know your worth, you're going to be able to bring in what you're worth. Oftentimes, as young men, we tend to underestimate how much we're worth. And I don't want that to happen to you. So right now, think about how you make money and how you charge. Maybe you're not in a position where you feel like you're all that, but what the goal should be is where you charge what you're worth. The goal should be where you earn more because you charge more. One of the ways that I knew my worth as well was working on my network. So I started having amazing guys in my life, amazing dudes that I could collaborate with, that I could partner with, that I could learn from, guys that I was in an amazing circle with, that I still am in an amazing circle with. Shout out you, Martin. Shout out Aaron, the guys in Cloud Money here in Budapest. And I'm around these guys and other friends of mine as well, certain mentors of mine, really close friends and peers of mine, guys who are running 6 and 7 figure businesses that I look at, that I see, they inspire me, and we all push each other upwards. So the way we charge goes up, the way we own goes up, right? And this is the key. It's knowing what you're worth. So in your 20s, here's how you're going to accelerate your growth. Here's how you're going to get to where you want to be. Master your health. Get jacked, get in shape, and start to feel good in your body, because that's what you have. And in the future, it's going to come back to you. The things that you do now for your health are going to cycle 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 years into your future. So take charge of it now. Understand that the world is competitive. The world's a competitive place. You have to be good. You have to be good if you want to get to success. You must be, because the world isn't easy. Everyone wants the same things. Everyone wants to get good. Everyone wants something. They all want something, but you have to get good. Then understand timing. Don't waste time. Understand timing, that you have your 20s and you have to create leverage in your 20s. You have to create leverage for your future, and then know what your worth is. Start to charge more. Start to think in terms of bigger numbers, because that's where the money's going to come from. If you're always thinking 10K per month, 10K per month, you're going to be limited to that. Right now, the way I think is 50 and 100K per month. My number that I set in my head is 100K per month consistently. That's the number I set. I'm not doing 100K per month. I'm not doing that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not doing that. But the number I have set in my head is 100K per month. So what are you aiming for? What are you continuously telling yourself you want to be at and that your value is at? And then say those numbers out loud. Quote those numbers. If someone hires you, say a number higher than you thought you could actually get to. speak higher, think higher. That's how you're going to get to where you want to be, and you're going to create a gap between yourself and those who don't actually grow in their 20s. That's how you're going to be one of the best guys. That's how you're going to be at the top. That's how you're going to accelerate. That's how you're going to grow. It's by realizing your worth ultimately at the end of the day. And this is what I've learned in the last couple of years. So wanted to give you some knowledge here, wanted to help you grow, wanted to push you forward. I'm rooting for you. I want to see you take action and get to the next level in your life. Okay, bro, let's go. Let's roll. Wake up. Get out of the haze. It's time to take action. I'll see you on the next video.